In this section we will present to you part of the APA Citation Guide. The material in this section is taken from Scribr.
Why citation is important. It gives proper credit to the authors of the words or ideas that you incorporated into your paper. It allows those who are reading your work to locate your sources, in order to learn more about the ideas that you include in your paper. In some cases you just extract an idea, topic, comment or figure. In some others you can extract several ideas or summarize the results or include textual parts of the document, and they should be cited correctly in the research proposal.
The glossary. When you start reading, it is convenient to have a glossary since the beginning and throughout the research for the following reasons: contribute to a standardized vocabulary, broaden the knowledge in relation to the topic being researched, help remember what is being researched, do more precise information searches.
There are a number of bibliographic styles that can be used, but you have to use the style that has been adopted as the standard in your academic institution or the one suggested by your academic advisor. APA, Harvard, Chicago, IEEE, ISO, MLA, NLM.
APA Citation Guide. The APA format is widely used by students, researchers, and professionals in the social and behavioral sciences. In this session we describe some important rules of citation. 7th edition of the Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association, APA, published in 2020. There are many cases and examples of different sources that can be included in the references section of a paper. In this session we are presenting just a few examples. It's up to you to look for the type of reference for your particular needs.
APA format for academic papers and essays. The 7th edition of the APA Publications Manual provides guidelines for clear communication, correct citation of sources, and how to format documents. The APA guidelines are not only limited to the bibliography but to the whole document. Set the page margins to 1 inch on all sides. Double space all text, including titles. Apply a 0.5-inch indent to the first line of each paragraph. Use an accessible font, for example, Times New Roman 12, Arial 11 or Georgia 11, among others. Include a page number on each one.
In-text citations in APA format, the basics. In-text citations are short references located in the text, which direct readers to the reference page at the end of the paper. You must include them whenever quotations or paraphrase the ideas or words of another person. The citations in the text, according to the APA format, consist of the name of the author and year of publication, known as the author date system. Also, if you are citing a specific part of a source, you must also include a locator, that is, a page number or timestamp. For example, Smith, 2020, p. 170. You can use a free application such as Mendeley to make citations.
In-text citations can be presented in 2 different ways, in parentheses or in the text, quote in parentheses, according to new research. Smith, 2020. In the text, Smith, 2020, points out that
various authors and corporate authors. In-text citations change slightly when a source has multiple authors or the author is an organization. If there are more than one author, use the ampersand, and pay special attention to punctuation.
The use of et al. The abbreviation et al., meaning and others, is used to shorten in-text citations that include 3 or more authors. It works in the following way. You should only include the last name of the first author, followed by et al., a comma and the year of publication, for example, Taylor et al., 2018.
Missing information. When the author, publication date or location of the information is unknown, look at the picture to the right. The title must be in the same format in which it is presented in the corresponding reference entry, either in italics or, if the title in the reference entry is not in italics, between double quotation marks. Remember that only the first letter of the first word of the title is capitalized.
How to cite a book in APA format. The citation of a book in APA format should always include the name of the author, the year of publication, the title of the book and the publisher.
Basic format for citing a book. The in-text citation of a book according to APA includes the author's last name, the year of publication, and, if relevant, a page number. In the list of references, it begins with the author's last name and initials, followed by the year. The title of the book must be written with the first letter of the first word in capital letters, unlike English, as well as the proper names, if there are any. Also include any other contributors, for example editors and translators, and the edition, if specified, for example second ed.
Format: last name, initials, year, book title, publisher, translator initials, last name, ed. or trans, edition, editor, reference input, Anderswain, B. 1983. Imagined Communities, Reflections on the Origins and Spread of Nationalism. Verse. Citation in the text. Anderswain, 1983, p. 23.
E-books and online books. The citation of an electronic book, that is, a book that is accessed through an electronic reader, or of a book that you have consulted online, for example, in Google Books or in PDF format, includes the DOI, Digital Object Identifier, as long as it is available. If there is no DOI associated, include the direct link to the page where you viewed the book or where the e-book in question can be purchased or accessed. Since e-books sometimes do not include page numbers, the APA recommends using other methods to identify a specific passage in your in-text citations, such as a chapter or section title or a paragraph number.
Format: last name, initials, year, title of the book, editor, URL or DOI, reference input, Burns, A. 2018. Milkman, Faber and Faber. https://amazon.to/2obkrvf, citation in the text, Burns, 2018, para. 15.
Cite a chapter from an edited book. When citing a particular chapter from a book that contains texts by multiple authors, for example, a collection of essays, start the citation by including the author of the chapter and mention the publisher of the book later in the reference. With a page range, identify the location of the chapter in the book.
Format: last name, initials, year, chapter title, in publisher's initials, surname, ed. or eds, book title, pp. Page range. Editor. DOI if available. Reference input, Belsey, C. 2006. Post-structuralism. In Esmalposen P. Wake, eds, their Routledge Companion to Critical Theory, pages 51 to 61. Routledge. Citation in the text, Belsey, 2006, p. 55.
Some books are published in multiple volumes. You may need to cite the entire set of books if you have used some of these volumes, or just one if you only consulted one of them. Cite a single volume. When citing a volume from a multi-volume book, the format varies slightly depending on whether each volume has a title or just a number. If the volume has a specific title, it should be written as part of the title in the reference list entry.
If the volume is only numbered and has no title, the volume is not italicized and appears in parentheses after the title.
Cite a multi-volume book as a whole, When citing the entire book, mention the volumes in parentheses after the title. Individual volume titles are not included, even if they exist.
Where can I find the information to cite a book? All the information you need to cite a book can usually be found on the title page and the copyright page.
Thus, the reference list entry for the previous book would be presented as follows.
How to cite a web page in APA format. When citing a web page in APA format, you generally include the author, publication date, page or article title, web page name, and corresponding URL. If there is no author, start the citation with the title of the article. If the page is likely to change over time, add a retrieval date. If you are citing an online version of a print publication, for example, a newspaper, magazine, or dictionary, use the same format that you would use for the print format, with a URL added at the end. The formats differ for online videos, for example TED Talks, images, and lectures.
Cite a full web page. When, in the text, you refer to a web page without quoting or paraphrasing a specific part of it, you do not need a formal quote. Instead, you can enclose the URL in parentheses after the site name. One of the most popular social networks, Instagram, http://instagram.com, allows users to share images and videos. For these types of citations, it is not necessary to include the detail of the web page in the reference page. However, if you are citing a specific page or article on a web page, you will need a formal in-text citation and its corresponding entry in the reference list.
How to cite articles online. Articles that appear in online versions of print publications, for example, newspapers and magazines, are cited as their print versions, but with a URL added at the end. The recommendation is to provide the URL of the home page rather than the one of the specific article, as the latter is more likely to change over time.
The same format is used for blog posts. The only difference is that you must include the name of the blog where you would normally put the name of the magazine or newspaper.
Online-only news website articles. For news web page articles without print equivalents, for example BBC News, Reuters, etc., italicize the article name and not the web page name.
Websites without author. When a web page does not include an individual author, it can generally be attributed to an organization or government. If this results in the author name being identical to the page name, omit it, as in the picture to the right.
If you can't identify any author, then replace it with the page or article title. In in-text citation, enclose the title in quotation marks if it is presented plain in the reference list or italicized if it is in the reference list. Note that the title space is used here for the title, unlike in the reference list. Shorten the title to the first few words, if necessary.
Undated web pages. When a web page or article does not include a publication or a vision date, replace the date with SF, no date, in all citations. If an online source is likely to change over time, it is recommended to include the date it was accessed preceded by the word retrieved.
How to cite material from social media. Since social media posts generally don't have a title, use the first 20 words of the post in italics as the title. It also includes any relevant information about the type of publication and any multimedia aspect, for example, videos, images, sound, links, in brackets.
In some social networks, like Twitter, users use usernames instead of, or in addition to, the real names. When the real name of the author is known, include it along with their username in brackets.
In some cases, when you want to cite a full social media profile instead of a specific post, include an access date, as that profile can obviously change over time.
How to cite a dissertation in APA format. The format for citing someone else's dissertation or thesis in APA format depends on whether the thesis is available in a database, published elsewhere, for example, in a university archive or on a personal web page, or unpublished, that is, only available in printed form directly from the author or the university. To cite a dissertation or thesis available in a database, use the following format. In the brackets, specify the type of dissertation or thesis in the university. Unlike other database sources, the URL and OI are not included.
Cite a thesis published elsewhere. To cite a dissertation or thesis published in a university archive, often in PDF format, or on a personal web page, the format differs in that no publication number is included and a URL is included.
Cite an unpublished thesis in APA format. To cite an unpublished dissertation, that is, when you obtained it directly from the author or the university, in print, add the unpublished tag in the description in brackets and list the university at the end of the reference, outside of the brackets.
How to cite a report in APA format. The reports can be published by governments, working groups or other organizations. To cite a report with an individual author, include the name and initials of the author, the title of the report, in italics, the number, the organization that published it, and the URL, if you have accessed the material online, for example, to a PDF.
Cite a report with multiple authors. When a report has multiple authors, you must include up to 20 in the reference entry.
If the report has 21 or more authors, then list the first 19, then add an ellipsis, and finally write the last author on the list.
In in-text citations, list up to 2 authors. When the source has 3 or more authors, list the first one followed by et al.
Cite a report with an organization as the author. Sometimes the reports do not detail individual authors, but rather the responsible organization. In these cases, include the organization in the author's position.
Where to find the report number. Many reports are associated with a specific number. If a report has a number, it will normally appear in the database where you found the report. A report number should always be included when available. However, if the report does not have one, this part of the citation can be omitted.
How to cite a press release in APA format. To cite a press release in APA format, you must indicate the organization responsible for its writing, the date of publication, the title in italics, the press release label in brackets, and the URL.
Basic format for citing a journal. The title of the article appears in plain text and with the first letter of the first word in capital letters, as opposed to English, as well as any proper names that it includes. The name of the magazine is written in italics.
When consulting an article in an online journal, the information required for a correct citation can generally be found on the Access page.
Unpublished article. The text of an article that has not yet appeared online or in a publication, that is only available directly from the author, should be cited as an unpublished manuscript. The title is written in italics and includes information about the author's university, if available.
On the references page, list all the sources you have cited throughout your research proposal. Place the reference page just after the main body of your text and before any attachments, if any. In the first line of this page you must write the title, in this case, References, in bold and centered. On the second line, sort your article's references in alphabetical order. Apply the following formatting guidelines to the reference page based on the APA style. Double spacing, and in between references. 1.3 centimeters indentation. Use Times New Roman 12 or Arial 11 fonts. The page numbers in the upper right corner. Now it's your turn.
Answer these questions. You are going to record yourself answering these questions. You are going to record the synthetic voice and your voice as if it were a conversation. You have from 30 to 40 seconds to answer. Give complete answers. Give reasons, use all the time you need to answer, don't stop speaking. The file type you submit to your teacher must be MP3. If you need more time, stop this video and record your answer, then resume this video and continue with your recording.
You are going to practice several times answering these questions. When you think you are ready, record yourself with the speech-to-text microphone in WhatsApp in your cell phone. If it shows the words that you are saying, then your pronunciation is correct. If not, check your pronunciation. Find a voice synthesis application so that you copy and paste what you are trying to say and listen to how the words are pronounced. Then try again until you pronounce correctly. When you are able to pronounce correctly, then record the questions and your answers using your cell phone and submit it to your teacher.
Uno. Escucha las preguntas primero. 2. Escribe tus respuestas. 3. Practica leyendo tus respuestas con tu celular en el modo de voz a texto para que verifiques que se escriben correctamente las palabras que dices. También puedes usar otro programa de reconocimiento de voz o de dictado. 4. Cuando pronuncies bien, graba la conversación. Si pronuncias mal, no envíes tu archivo hasta que lo hagas correctamente.
What is the purpose of citation? Select two citation styles and say how are they different from the APA style. What is a glossary and when do you start writing it? What does the ETAL abbreviation mean and when will you use it? How do you make the citation of a chapter from an edited book?
This is the end of the session. See you in our next Hands on the Writing a Research Proposal Flipped Classroom session.